What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am back trying a new product yet again. Today we have an entire new brow collection from Urban Decay. It's called the Street Style Brow Collection. They were kind enough to send this over to me, so I do have all of the colors here, and we're gonna get to try all of the products on my brows today. So I haven't done my brows yet, and I'm also not wearing lashes today, which quite frankly makes me look weird. I'm like looking at myself in the monitor and I'm like, my head looks blank, you know what I mean? I'm also really sweaty, but what else is new? So there are 4 products in this launch: Brow Endowed Brow Primer and Color, Down Brow Powder, the Brow Blade, which is an ink stain in a brush tip with a waterproof pencil on the other side. That's the one that I'm really excited for. And then there's Brow Finish Waterproof Brow Gel, and that has 2 different kinds. One is in the color Midnight Cowboy, which is like a little bit shimmery. It's supposed to kind of highlight your brows and give them more of like a bushy dimensional look. And the other one is a clear version. So I'm gonna go ahead and try all of the products today. I'm gonna try them in the color that I think is appropriate for me, one of the 2 darker shades most likely. But what I'm gonna also do is swatch the brow blades on my arm next to each other to try to give you guys an idea of which color might be right for you. I did something very similar when I reviewed the bushy brows from Lime Crime, which I wound up really liking, by the way, and still use all the time. If you haven't seen that video and you would like to, I'll link it up here on the screen. Don't forget to come back and finish watching this one. Thank you. But I did that in that video to give you guys an idea of what they would look like when they're applied, because sometimes it's really hard to tell what undertone would be right for your brow. So seeing them next to each other, you can compare which one's warmer, which one's cooler, which one's darker, etc., etc. And as usual, I will list all of the information about this launch in the description down below. So if you have questions about where it's available, when it's available, the price, etc., etc., instead of sitting here and reading through all of that, I will simply list everything down below and link it for you accordingly. There will also be timestamps in the description, so if you only want to see the swatches or if you only want to see the application, you can just jump down there and click on which one you want to see. Make it easy for you guys, and don't waste your time. So they sent these over in like a little individual packet for each colorway, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna dig through here, figure out which ones are most likely to match for me. We're gonna zoom in and we're gonna start building a brow with these products. I have so much hair in my face. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm also going to be conducting a wear test with them. So I'll wear it throughout the day, I'll check in with you guys, and then I'll sit down later tonight before I go to bed and let you know how it wore, even though I am definitely going to the gym later and I'm definitely doing like an hour-and-a-half back-to-back double workout, so it's really gonna get put to the test. Whenever I do wear tests that involve me going to the gym, I get a lot of questions about how I manage to not get my makeup to come completely off of my face. So I have a couple of tips on how I do that. Although honestly, in real life, I don't recommend that you go to the gym with makeup on. Like, who cares? Just go to the gym, let your skin breathe, sweat, wipe it off, do what you gotta do. But if for some reason you need to wear makeup to the gym, you have to go somewhere after, or if you're conducting some sort of a wear test like I am, the way that I deal with it is I try to wear the minimal amount of makeup possible, so that way like there's less to go wrong, which is why I'm not wearing lashes and liner today and stuff. And when my face does sweat, I just dab it off with a towel instead of like wiping it away. And generally what happens is I do lose some of the coverage of my foundation. Obviously, you know, like some of it's gonna transfer off when you're sweating. It just is what it is. But for the most part, it still looks pretty intact. And I find that wearing a lighter foundation helps it look less obvious when you lose some. Those are all little tips that can help you if you are going to be wearing your makeup through a workout for some reason. But yeah, that's how I do it. It doesn't look perfect at the end of the day, but we do get an idea of how the products wear through some more rigorous activities. So after looking at the little colors on the info sheet, I'm almost certain that I am going to be the color Dark Drapes. So I'm gonna begin by using the primer, because obviously primer first, that makes sense. This is the Brow Endowed Primer and Color. It has a very small little skinny brush. This is the primer side. So I'm gonna start by brushing the primer side through my brows. Just gonna use it to kind of brush through them and then brush them up. Generally, that's how I start my brows, whether I'm using some sort of a brow primer or not. I try to brush through them first. That way they kind of sit their best way. So far, I like the way that went in. It kind of made them look nice and neat with very minimal effort, which we always like. Even comparing one side to the other, this one already looks more full just with the primer, even though it does look lighter with the primer, but we're gonna fix that anyway. All right, I'm gonna go through with the color side, which looks the same, except that it's dark, and I'm gonna brush that through as well. I probably, if I'm guessing, I probably wouldn't put this in normally before I use other products, but I do want to see what it looks like on its own without other products helping it out, because this is one of those like volume building products, and if you fill it in underneath, you aren't really seeing exactly how much volume you're getting from it. Okay, so just with the Brow Endowed Primer and Color, that's the difference. That's my natural brow, and that is the one that has the product in it. That's a pretty good difference just from swiping that through. I would say that this is on par with Benefit Gimme Brow, or very similar to Bushy Brow from Lime Crime. Like on a very light makeup day, I could absolutely get away with just this in my brows. Okay, next we have the Double Down Brow Powder. And I have to be honest with you guys, before we even start on this product, I generally don't like brow powders. I understand the appeal of them and why some people like them, but they're just not what I usually reach for. So I'm going to use this just on the front part of my brow, just to try to get a little bit of filled in space on this more sparse area here to see how I like it, to give it a shot and show you guys how it performs. Just know that this probably would not be the one that I picked up if it were up to me. It also comes with a little double-ended brush in there. It has one spoolie side and one angled brow brush side. And quite frankly, I'm very picky about my brow brushes, but the spoolie seems really nice. And I like that this is a little teeny thing, so I could just throw it in here if I wanted to take this with me. I'm gonna dip it into the lighter side first and see what happens. I'm also gonna zoom us in closer because I feel like that would be more telling. And now you can see the before and after better on the other product too. All right, so I'm just gonna use the brush that they provided. I'm gonna try the lighter shade right at the beginning of my brow. This brush actually works pretty well for a brush that's included in a kit. Usually those brushes kind of suck, but this ain't bad, I have to say. Try brushing it through a little bit too. Actually, I don't feel like brushing it through is a great idea because my brows feel a little bit crunchy already from the volumizing gel. Okay, so now for the brow blade. This is the one that has the pencil side and the marker side. I was actually surprised because I thought this was going to be a different shape. I thought it was going to be more like a blade shape, sort of like the Signature Brow from Kat Von D, or something along the lines of the Anastasia brow. That's the wedge shape. I can't remember the name of that one right now. You guys know which one I'm talking about. But it's actually more of a fine, like classic pencil tip, similar to the Benefit Precisely My Brow, but I actually have been really loving Precisely My Brow lately, so I mean, I don't mind, but the name Blade made me expect something more blade-like. So I'm not sure if they are trying to say that both sides of this are waterproof or that the pencil side is waterproof, because it doesn't really seem clear in the wording on the pamphlet. I'm gonna try to find out if both sides are supposed to be waterproof, and I'll list that in the description when I find out too. But we'll also see because I'm gonna wear it and get sweaty. So I'm going to apply this the way I normally do my brows, which is to draw a few hair-like strokes in the front part of my brow and then define the tail a little bit more with the pencil. So that worked pretty much as I expected it to. It is very, very similar to the Lime Crime Bushy Brows. I think the tip on this one is a little bit stiffer, which makes it easier to get like a little bit more of an exact line, but the result is very, very, very similar. I'm gonna go ahead and define the rest of the brow with the pencil, and we'll see what the end result is here. Okay, that was actually super easy to use, and I like the consistency of this pencil a lot. I would say that this is softer than Anastasia Brow Wiz and a little softer than the Kat Von D Signature Brow, but not quite as soft as the Benefit Brow Contour Pro, which is more of almost like a pomade in a pencil form. Honestly, it's just like a matter of preference, what you prefer in a brow pencil. This is like really middle of the road as far as that goes, so I can see it pleasing a lot of people. But if you like something that's like super duper hard, then maybe this wouldn't be for you. The only products left to try are the brow gels now, and so what I'm gonna do, since there are two different types of them, is I'm going to use the shimmery one in this brow, and then I'll go off camera, finish this brow with the same products, and use the clear one in that brow after. But if it also carries a product that's kind of like highlighter for the brows, it's called 3D Brow Tones. As far as my experience with that one, it's very nice, but it's very subtle. They also have some colored versions of it, which are very fun. But it does seem to me that this might be more intensely shimmery than the Benefit counterpart. This looks a lot different than I thought it was going to now that I opened it up. I was expecting a much smaller brush. This is like a little chunky chody brush. Oh, that is so much more of like an actual glitter than the 3D Brow Tones. I mean, that's a straight up glittery brow. I'm not mad about it. I kind of like it, but it's definitely glitter. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned up around my brows with a little bit more foundation, which, by the way, is the way I like to clean up my brows. I know a lot of people like to go in around their brows with concealer. Personally, for me, I find that it's a little bit too heavy, so what I like to do is just take a tiny brush and a little bit of the same foundation that I put on before I did my brows and just clean up the edges as I need to, and then blend it into the rest of my foundation. So for this brow, I did the same exact thing as I did on this one, but now we need to gel it, and I'm going to use the clear version of the brow gel. I actually think I like the brush because it is a pretty quick application with the gel, and because it's not something with a dark base color, you don't really have to worry about it making too much of a mess. Although I will say I did get a little bit of glitter on my skin when I did this brow, but I may have also gotten a little overzealous. Okay, so that is the finished product. We have the one with the Midnight Cowboy gel and the other with the clear gel. Now, while I do think that the Midnight Cowboy gel is definitely glittery and might not be for everyone, the shimmer is giving it a lot of dimension actually though, and I like that. But both brows actually look pretty good, and I feel like I'm having a good brow day, so that's always a good sign. So now I gotta go about the rest of my day. But first, what I'm gonna do is swatch all the brow blades on my arm to give you guys a picture of what the undertones and the depth of the color of each of the different shades is, in case you are trying to figure out what might work for you. Hopefully those swatches were helpful. I am gonna go about my day. It is approximately 3:25 p.m. right now, which means I have a few hours before I go to the gym. I'll do my first checkup after I leave the gym because that'll bring us to around 7 p.m., which is a good chunk of time. And I don't think that we should expect this to wear off in any way before that. Like if it comes off before 5:30 when I get to the gym, we're in a world of trouble. So that's my plan and I'm sticking to it. I'll see you guys when I get back from the gym. Okay, my hair is, wow. And pardon me for not turning all the background lights back on, but I just wanted to sit down and do a quick check-in. It is now 7:43 p.m. I went to the gym, I came home, I had some stuff to do, so I didn't sit down right away, but I just looked in my little hand mirror and I have to say that I don't think these brows have moved at all. I also added some glitter to this brow because I felt like if I was gonna be at the gym with glitter brows, it had to be in both at least. There's the brows up close and personal. I think I maybe lost a little bit of the pencil right there. I also feel like the gel itself is very, very tenacious, if you will. It reminds me of the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Set Gel in the way that it feels, because it's very like, you could feel that they're like cemented in place, which I like. I don't want my brows going anywhere during the day, you know? I want them to be I want it to be like hairspray for my eyebrows. So I'm gonna continue wearing these for the rest of the night until I go to bed, but I would say so far, these stood up pretty well to the rigorous activities test. My eyeshadow, not so much today. Hope that wasn't really disgusting for you up close and personal when I zoomed in, but whatever, it is what it is. I gotta go be an adult and feed myself something, and I will check in with you guys in a few hours before I go to bed. Okay guys, it's 11:25 in the evening, 11:25 p.m. I look like boiled ass. But I wanted to do a final check-in and give you guys my final thoughts on these brow products before I wash them off and go to bed. So as far as the wear time, these have not moved at all since I came back from the gym. So like I said, I may have lost a little bit of opacity right here with the pencil and maybe a little bit on this side, but not much, like a barely even noticeable amount. And considering that it was a pretty long, pretty vigorous workout, it's pretty impressive that they stayed on that well. The brow gel also seems like it's very long wearing because my brows still feel like they're really stuck in place. So I like that. I like that the brow gel still feels like it's doing its thing. Now, the Midnight Cowboy Brow Gel literally is glitter brow gel, and I know that a lot of people are probably gonna hate on that pretty hard. They're not gonna like it. Personally, I love new things like that in makeup. I want to try glitter brows. I want to try glitter highlighters. I want to try all these things that I don't have something of already and find out if I like them. And as it turns out, I kind of like these glitter brows. Like, I would wear this on a regular basis, to be honest. But if you are not into things like that, then don't be fooled into thinking that it's something very subtle and highlighty like the Benefit 3D brow tones, because it's not. It's definitely like noticeable glitter. I don't know if it's quite a glitter. It's like on the border between shimmer and glitter, which I have accidentally called shitter many times, but that's not really the name for it. But formula-wise, it seems really good. So if you're not into the shimmer, then there is the clear one available, which is lovely. We have options and choices. Oh, I also forgot to wipe the swatches off of my arm, and they're still there as well. So even after my clothes rubbing on my sweaty skin, they're still there. They faded a bit, but like, they're still, you can still even see the color difference between them. Speaking of the colors, one thing I did notice is that the first 3 shades, there isn't much of a difference between how dark they are. It's a little bit different, enough so that the second darkest shade probably would look a little bit weird on me because my hair is so dark, but the difference is not vast between the colors as far as how dark they are for those first 3 shades. It's more of like an undertone difference. So what would I purchase if I just went to the store and saw this in Ulta or Sephora? I would probably go for the Brow Blade, and personally, because I already have a lot of clear brow gels, I would definitely be interested in trying the Midnight Cowboy glitter brow gel because it's something different. I felt like the double-ended primer worked really, really well. So if you were looking for something that is along those lines of like that very casual, not super filled in, but a little bit more bushy brow, it's a lovely product for that, and it definitely added a lot of volume to my brows. I'm not sure the reason for it having 2 steps rather than just having the color within the volumizing fibers, but it worked well, so I'm not complaining. And as far as the brow powder is concerned, it worked perfectly fine. It's a brow powder though. I'm not super into brow powders, and I don't think I ever will be. But if you like them, it's a perfectly nice brow powder. It went on very smooth. The little brush in there is actually pretty decent, and it also has a spoolie, which is cool because that way you don't have to like carry one with you. If you're bringing this with you to travel, you can just brush through your brows with the one that's in here on the brush. I like that. The packaging is cute. Everything about it's fine. I'm just not a brow powder girl. I definitely like the Brow Blade a lot though. I'd probably be reaching for it really regularly. I felt like it was very, very quick and easy to get a very full looking brow, so always like that. Will it become my everyday brow product? I don't know. It's really hard to say because I have a lot of brow products in heavy rotation right now, like so many. Benefit, Lime Crime, Anastasia, Kat Von D all have fantastic brow products that I've been loving, so I kind of just rotate through them all. So I will let you guys know if this one like takes over and becomes my favorite, but as of right now, I think it'll just be entering my rotation. I think that pretty much covers it, so I'm gonna go finally wash this face and go to bed. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if it was helpful or if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me out and I always appreciate it, and also it lets me know that you like this type of content If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe because I would love to have you around for more videos, and I'm gonna make so many more. You just watch, I'm coming. If you want to keep up with me between videos, I am all over social media as Ms. Quinface. You can find me on Instagram most often. I post on my stories pretty much every day. I post new looks over there all the time, some of which you won't see here on this channel because they're exclusives. I'll have to do more creative stuff over there, more like abstract lip art and stuff like that. If you're interested in that type of thing, come follow me on my feed. And if you're interested to know what's going down on this channel next, come follow along on my stories because we run all sorts of polls and Q&As about that. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.